Not every monster lurks in the shadows of folklore. Some wear the face of normalcy, and in American history, one such figure sent shivers down the collective spine. This is the story of Jeffrey Dahmer, known as the Milwaukee Cannibal. In today's investigation, we uncover the chilling descent of a man who orchestrated 17 murders with disturbing precision. Born on May 21st, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer began life like many other American children. Yet, underneath the surface of an ordinary upbringing were whispers of something amiss. His early years were marked by isolation and an unusual fascination. As a child, Dahmer found comfort and a grim allure in the hidden world of animal remains. A curiosity born in a quiet home would soon grow into a hunger for control and ultimately destruction. Shortly after his high school graduation in 1978, Dahmer made his fateful first move into a world of unspeakable violence. It began with the tragic murder of Stephen Hicks, a young hitchhiker who trusted Dahmer with a simple promise of shared beers. An ordinary night morphed into a brutal encounter as Dahmer's calculated rage revealed itself. Using a dumbbell as his weapon, he ended a life far too young, setting into motion a horrific pattern that would go on for years. This act of violence was not a spur-of-the-moment crime. It was a precursor to a methodical unraveling of empathy, where the line between passion and pathology blurred beyond recognition. Living a life that balanced on the edge of normalcy, Dahmer was a master of compartmentalization. By day, he might have been seen as just another face in the crowd, a worker, neighbor. But when the sun set, the man transformed. Frequenting Milwaukee's underworld of gay bars and bathhouses, he searched for vulnerable souls. His victims, lured by promises of intimacy and companionship, found themselves ensnared in a calculated trap. Dahmer's personal life was a paradox, an ordinary facade hiding an extraordinary darkness. Even as police reports and community whispers hinted at something amiss, the signs were dismissed or downplayed until it was too late. Frequenting Milwaukee's underworld of gay bars and bathhouses, he searched for vulnerable souls. His victims, lured by promises of intimacy and companionship, found themselves ensnared in a calculated trap. Dahmer's personal life was a paradox, an ordinary facade hiding an extraordinary darkness. Even as police reports and community whispers hinted at something amiss, the signs were dismissed or downplayed until it was too late. Frequenting Milwaukee's underworld of gay bars and bathhouses, he searched for vulnerable souls. His victims, lured by promises of intimacy and companionship, found themselves ensnared in a calculated trap. Living a life that balanced on the edge of normalcy, Dahmer was a master of compartmentalization. By day, he might have been seen as just another face in the crowd, a worker, a neighbor. But when the sun set, the man transformed. Frequenting Milwaukee's underworld of gay bars and bathhouses, he searched for vulnerable souls. His victims, lured by promises of intimacy and companionship, found themselves ensnared in a calculated trap. Each victim was not merely an object. They were pieces of a puzzle that Dahmer meticulously assembled. With each killing, the method became more chilling, a blend of seduction, intoxication, and systematic dismemberment. From drugging his victims to photographing every grisly moment, Dahmer's actions were not random, they were ritualistic. He would often keep a part of each victim as a morbid memento, attempting to conquer his own demons with their remains. By the time he was fully entrenched in his criminal activities, there was no turning back. Only a relentless pursuit of a forbidden hunger for control. While horror unfolded behind closed doors, alarm bells occasionally rang out in the community. Some brave individuals tried to expose the truth. Tracy Edwards, one of Dahmer's few survivors, managed to escape and alert the authorities. His account detailed a nightmare of chained handcuffs, a threatening knife, and a foul odor, a mixture of stench and despair that modern forensic teams would later find undeniable. But for too long, systemic failures allowed Dahmer to continue his crimes. The oversight and sometimes indifference of local authorities compounded the tragedy, leaving families devastated and a community in mourning. On a cool July night in 1991, everything changed as Dahmer lured yet another man with the pretense of camaraderie and indulgence. Fate intervened. Tracy Edwards, desperate to escape, sought help from 2 Milwaukee police officers. What followed was a confrontation that would unearth the horrors locked within apartment 213, an apartment that soon became a crime scene of historical significance. Walking into the apartment, the officers found evidence not just of crimes, but of a complete disintegration of humanity. Boxes filled with severed heads, skeletal remains, and eerie Polaroid photographs painted the full picture of Dahmer's dark obsession. In that moment, the monster was revealed. With the capture of Jeffrey Dahmer came a historic trial that brought to light the horrors he had committed. At his arraignment, Dahmer shockingly stated, "For what I did, I should be dead." He offered no plea for mercy, only a confession steeped in an eerie calmness that baffled legal experts. The courtroom became a stage where debates over insanity, compulsion, and moral responsibility played out. Experts testified on his mental state, while victim families listened in profound silence. Ultimately, Dahmer was declared legally sane, sentenced to multiple life imprisonments, and his case became a chilling reference for discussions on mental health, societal failures, and the very nature of evil. In the wake of the horror, questions remain that extend beyond a single name. What drove Jeffrey Dahmer to such depths? Psychologists describe his actions as the result of a tangled web of personality disorders, deep-seated isolation, and a desperate craving to control the uncontrollable. His crimes forced society to confront painful realities. How can a system overlook warning signs? And what does it say about our collective responsibility? Dahmer's legacy is grim, a reminder of lives cut short and families torn apart. Yet it also sparked dialogue on reform in law enforcement and mental health care. Memorials, legal changes, and community vigils across Milwaukee served as somber tributes to the victims, ensuring that their lives would not be forgotten. As we peel back the layers of Jeffrey Dahmer's life, we see not only the brutality of his acts, but the cracks within a system meant to protect us all. His story forces us to question, how can we identify the warning signs in time? And most importantly, how do we ensure that no more lives are lost to a darkness we failed to see coming? If this story gripped you, disturbed you, or made you think, don't let it end here. Do you think there's a serial killer more dangerous than Dahmer? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button to support more deep dives like this. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. And if this story gave you chills, share it with someone who needs to see it. The more we talk about it, the more we understand. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe,